Man in a Tub presents the Tubcast.
Oh!
Hey, what's up?
I didn't get it right.
Of all the things,
I didn't get it right.
Kyle.
I'm sorry. Everything that was
Why
going
don't
on.
you check your own stuff?
You only had one job.
Did I just get shamed by Kuipers?
you
Yeah.
know, it's way too late
you
now,
did.
right? It would have been better not to do it.
Boo, indeed.
Yes.
Is that low?
You're
What?
low.
This?
Yeah, I turned it down because it's freaking loud.
This is low.
So, hey,
Hey, we have
here.
people in the chat.
I feel
Welcome.
I feel sorry for people that were like listening last night and now tonight, and they're like, these guys have a lot of problems.
Well, it's just because
Why do you address it?
Because I like to.
we threw Kuipers in front of the streaming computer.
You're
and,
blaming Kuipers.
Again,
Well,
yes.
I mean,
Kuipers did an. Now I'm off.
No,
Kuipers
just
did an
shut up.
awesome job
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Why are you addressing that you're off, Jeremy?
because you're fiddling with it.
No, all I was saying, Jeremy, is that we've changed a whole bunch of things up here now, and that Eric is no longer controlling things. It's put a little bit of chaos into the tub.
No.
It'll settle in, and we'll be
I
fine.
don't think there's any more chaos. I think it's the same amount.
Yeah, it's a fair amount. I think we got it figured out.
I
You know,
mean-
it's just we're perfectionists and we're trying to perfect our craft.
We're trying
so
to
I
be
think
professional, and it's not working.
yes.
That's because we keep addressing it.
Well, it's because your microphone died like
If
2
we're
minutes before we started.
If we were professional, we wouldn't address
And
it.
then the
we would
worst
literally just move on.
the worst part is that there was a buzzing, but we got rid of the
Yeah,
buzzing.
there was a buzzing that
And
we
now
fixed
it's gone.
today. High five.
The buzzing's gone. I was listening
gone.
to the loop last night.
Like bragging
And you could
about
hear
this
it?
is like the least
I was listening to
professional
the
thing
loop
do.
last night, and I was like, "This is the most obnoxious buzzing I have ever heard in a
Jeremy,
podcast."
get over it. We're talking.
And
here.
I was just like, "This is so annoying. Why is it there?" And now it's gone. We got rid of the buzz. That makes me so happy.
Mutiny Teddy just redeemed chaos.
He also redeemed a Dance Kuipers.
I don't think it actually worked.
No, it didn't. So it doesn't count.
All right. I like to be transparent, Jeremy.
Yeah.
I know you think that you live in this age
nothing to
of
do
like
with
the 90s
transparency.
where they were like, "Oh, don't address your mistakes because then it makes you look unprofessional." And I don't subscribe to that. I don't like that.
I think that's an unfair statement of me, but
Well, no, I'm just saying that's a very common idea from like going years back. Like I remember being in certain things that I won't mention, and that was always like the thing of like, "Oh, if we don't mention it, he's mad at me."
Jeremy's just
he's triggered.
throwing crap.
I like how whenever I get upset, everybody calls me a snowflake. Jeremy gets upset, and everybody's quiet in the chat.
no, because if I get upset, it's because you're attacking me.
I'm not
He's not
attacking you.
attacking
you.
You were
Oh,
attacking
I'm
us.
not even
Hang on.
upset. That's
If I'm attacking
That's
you,
the
then
beauty.
you were.
I'm not upset right now.
Oh, you're not upset.
no, I'm
oh,
not.
okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you throwing things around the office as you being upset.
No, I was just creating.
chaos.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Welcome.
Why are you addressing the chaos?
Welcome
Jeremy?
to the Tubcast. My name is Eric. As always, I'm joined by Kyle
Hey.
and Grumpy Jeremy and Nathan.
Hello. I don't get an adjective.
Oh, poor.
Hey,
how about
you
That's all right.
unadjective Nathan?
Do you want the adjective
seems-
back?
That
Hey,
seems
Kuipers, can
rather
you turn the
self-
air on?
Sure.
Yeah, get the AC on.
Okay, good job, Kuipers.
It's warm in here.
Nah. Whew, it is warm.
Let me fix your curl.
What was that?
What was that?
I can't fix your curl. Sorry.
Oh, they.
Crazy Legs finally got Dance to work.
Oh, they got it to
Was
work.
that the redeem?
Yeah,
Yes.
there's a little Kuipers on the sun that shows up on the screen. Switch to your thing. you'll
Oh, I
see it.
didn't. I
yeah,
just didn't
so-
know what the sound was.
But yeah, now you got to give us a genre.
Christmas.
He
said.
wants Christmas.
Christmas.
I wonder if we missed
Sweet
another-
Christmas.
All right, we'll get.
Hey, get the AC on before you get it real hot up in here.
It's on.
It's turned on right now.
Is it 11 o'clock?
Turn it to 11 right now. Because 10's just not enough. Kuipers can't
You're
figure
doing
out
something,
the AC.
Kuipers.
Put the cool on.
So that makes a difference. All right, we're
Man,
good
we
now.
closed the show last night. Oh, we got to do.
You're fine.
We
Go
got to
ahead,
do
just
this.
talk.
All right.
What is going?
You hit something on the soundboard.
Oh,
You
sorry.
should just take over the soundboard, Eric.
Why?
Because then you don't have to unplug things.
Oh, yeah.
Plug 'em back in.
We should. We'll
Hey,
figure.
Kuipers.
You know, we're
I
working.
wasn't trying to give
Now
something
you're
away.
now you're talking about
Yeah,
it.
you're trying
so
to
now I
take
have
away
to
one of my
talk about
things.
it.
You're trying to take away one of my
I
things,
think it's
Jeremy.
just we just got a lot of things to figure out. Let's see. How about this should be good. Enjoy. Here's the Kuipers dance.
Crazy
Sure.
Legs also says, "Don't you dare offend Jesus' birthday."
Okay. I think he knows better.
I don't think you're dancing enough, Kuipers. He almost fell over.
Please don't knock the studio over.
Is he holding a baby or is he decking the halls? I can't
thought he
tell.
was ballroom dancing with himself.
Oh,
Oh, it stopped.
Was that it?
No, it's fine.
Oh,
Just
okay.
hang
Keep
in.
going. Keep dancing.
You were in the moment. It's just one dance.
He's tripping over stuff.
He's tripping over all the stuff that Jeremy just threw off of the desk. Oh man.
There you go. Just kidding. Keep going. Keep going. I'm joking.
I just hit the sound effects button like it was plugged in.
There you go. You're done.
I was gonna give him an applause.
No, you
and-
don't. Now stop addressing it, Kyle. Stop it. Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for getting it all started
Thanks,
out.
Kuipers. And thank you, Crazy Legs, for joining and throwing some of your tub bucks at us.
Yeah.
I like how Papa Mess has dubbed that the Santa Shimmy Shammy.
That is a
Hey.
That is a good
Jeremy, you've graduated. It's no longer
what?
hashtag Jeremy's a disappointment. It's now hashtag Kuipers is a disappointment, according to Crazy Legs.
one. Hooray.
Hooray!
Well, now
He-
that doesn't mean that Jeremy can't be a disappointment. It just
missed-
means that Kuipers also can be.
He missed hashtagged it.
Oh.
What do you-
Because there's
He
a
just
it's not
hashtagged
Jeremy?
Kuipers.
Okay. You're right.
Okay. So how's life going, everyone? How are you all doing? Are you coping with your decisions in life?
Yeah, I think
good,
so.
Good.
Most of them.
I found a new podcast the other day.
Are you leaving?
Called
us?
The Loop.
Yes, it's
on
called
Wednesday
The Loop.
nights.
On Wednesday nights. No, I found another one. I work where I basically stare at a screen for 10 hours and listen to music and stuff. So I'm constantly looking for things that I might find interesting to listen to. And I discovered that there was a podcast that started this summer that is basically reading Rainbow. Because it's LeVar Burton. And he is reading short stories. Like,
Aw.
it's actually pretty cool.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I like reading Rainbow. So
That's a weird thing to wish, Jeremy.
what's Jeremy wishing in the?
You can't, Jeremy. You tell me you can't. Your job is the most easiest to listen to podcasts while you're doing. So
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Jeremy,
no,
you-
it's not. I'm on video conference almost all day, most days.
all day you're on a video conference. Then what are you
lot of
accomplishing
time.
if you're just talking
No,
on
because
a video conference?
no, it's not always talking on the video conference. A lot of times it's because I'm showing them how to implement something, or they're monitoring my implementation of something in their environment.
Oh.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm a thought leader. I'm a
Yeah.
things like that.
I love how he's just like in the chat, like just subtweeting you with hashtags in there. Wish I got paid to listen to Reading Rainbow. Brr,
I mean, it's not It's not reading
Jeremy.
Rainbow.
I feel like Eric's triggered in some way.
No, I'm just being Jeremy. Wish I
Pretty
got
sure
paid.
that's you being triggered.
Wish I got paid as much as you, Kyle, to listen to Reading Rainbow.
Definitely triggered.
You know what? You don't wish that you got paid as much as me. I would gladly swap you so that you could listen to Reading Rainbow at work.
Yeah, I know, Jeremy.
He's the one saying that
turd.
part.
That's because you're
I
a
just
turd.
think-
You're
no,
a big fat turd.
You're totally
You're a
triggered right
stinky.
now.
I am because you
What
don't.
is wrong?
You need to check your freaking privilege
What
at
are
the
you
door.
talking about?
Oh, I wish I got paid to listen to Reading Rainbow.
Why did it trigger you so much? This
Because
is
it's
hilarious.
just a terrible jerk thing to say, and I'm just calling you out on it because it's really mean. And so that's really
You're the one being a jerk right now.
No, I'm not. That's
Yes,
like,
you are.
You're
Like-
discrediting his capability at his own job because
No,
you're
I'm
saying.
not. I
it's-
thought it was funny.
All right, Nathan, what have you been up to?
Well,
Hopefully, not being a jerk.
Like the rest of us.
well, the other day I was at work and I was standing near the soda machine and I was talking to another server, and then I started to move toward my left, and suddenly I felt my apron strings snag on something, and suddenly
It was a child.
it was not a child.
Oh, sorry.
Your pants came down.
No, my pants did not come down. My apron strings do not hold up my pants, Jeremy.
Oh, okay.
If they went through the belt loops.
That would just weigh down my pants more.
I know.
I've tried that. Anyway, the ice scoop, the handle snagged on my string, and then it flipped up over my shoulder and landed in the crook of my elbow. And I just looked at it and was like, I could not do that again if I tried.
Whoa.
Did you wash it afterwards?
Yes.
Wait, so you were just walking and your apron strings caught the ice scoop and just magic. How would it catch it? Was
And
there...
you caught the ice scoop in your arm.
Because there was like a
crevice.
loop on the apron string, like it was a bow.
Yeah,
Oh,
because I have
okay.
to tie it in a knot.
And there's a hook on there, maybe on the scoop.
No, it's just a handle.
Oh,
And
okay.
it just caught it just right, huh?
You caught it just right.
Well, like it has ridges on it for your fingers. I must have caught on the ridges.
That's really talented.
Mutiny
this-
Teddy wants to know if you wear pants under your apron.
I'll leave that for you to imagine.
Ooh.
It sounds like you've got a new YouTube like sensation thing, you know, like the
brewing.
guys who make the long shot basketball shots. You'll just do like random walk by things and they jump out into your hands videos. You think you could pull
No,
that off?
I could never plan for that to happen.
Oh, okay.
This was a random freak happenstance, and I just thought it was interesting, and you guys might like to hear about it. I couldn't plan it.
I like when that kind of stuff happens. You're just like, wait, how? I couldn't, like you said, I literally couldn't try, or couldn't do that if I tried.
Yes.
Sometimes you just got to go, oh, cool.
So
Yeah, it was a Nathan story.
that's pretty cool. You're talented, and you should do it all the time. And you should
Yeah, you should
show
work
it.
on
Do
that.
this every week.
You should do it for all the customers so they can enjoy it.
I gotta say though, Nathan, I'm I'm only kind of disappointed in that story, but only because you typed in the agenda here, Nathan flipped out, and I was thinking that you like got really mad at somebody and just freaked out on them.
Does
And
that happen?
Is that what you wanted?
I feel like that would have been an intriguing story.
Do you get angry?
Yeah, I get angry.
Mainly at Republicans.
Is it good? Is it good that I haven't experienced that?
I see somebody watches my Twitter feed.
Oh yes,
Is it good that I haven't experienced it? Is that like,
Well, I've been mad at you. You just didn't notice.
oh, I'm
there
sorry.
it is.
I apologize.
All
now.
right. I was deliberately not showing it.
Aw.
Oh,
have you been
'cause
mad at
care
all of
about
us,
me.
Nathan?
I don't think I've ever been mad at Kuiper.
I knew that was coming.
Wait, you've been mad at me? How could anybody get mad at me? That's so weird. Nobody ever gets mad at me.
I managed.
I know. It's so amazing.
I'm that talented.
Okay.
I
No
also
one
have
gets
a
mad at
spec-
you.
I also have a
No.
special surprise announcement.
What's that? Oh, it
Uh-oh.
involves props.
I got this off Amazon the other day.
The Room.
The Room.
Oh.
It's been called the Citizen Kane of bad movies, and I would like to invite all of you guys to watch it with me at some point.
Let me see it real quick. This is the one that's got what's his face? Is it
Nicolas Cage.
It's not Nicholas Cage.
No,
Oh.
Tommy
Wiseau.
Wiseau. He's the one that created the movie.
Yep.
And he's got. Well, I mean, I think the charm of this movie is that it is bad, but it's that he kind of cared maybe a little bit about what he was doing.
That's
I think.
exactly what it is.
I think
he
that's.
thought he was creating high art.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the movie that that James Franco is making a movie about him making.
Yeah,
That's the one.
he's playing Tommy in the new his movie. Wasn't somebody? Because who's in this?
It's nobody famous.
Is it nobody?
Except for being in this movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I would really like to sit through it, but I don't know when. Maybe someday, Nathan.
Will we make it? What's it even about?
A room.
Yeah. In Los Angeles.
Just looking at his face on
It's
the
in San
cover of
Francisco.
this.
Oh, that.
Is he actually in the movie?
Yeah.
He's the starring role.
Oh, is he really? Okay.
His future wife, because for some reason they never say fiance, his future wife starts cheating on him with his best friend behind his back, and then a whole bunch of other side stories happen, and none of them go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
So when was this made?
2003.
And it's got copyright on the front and on the back in large enough letters that you can see it's copywritten from 2001 to 2018. This is from the future.
Jalver says this stopped their potential careers. So, yeah, I've heard it's a really bad movie. Have you seen it at all, Nate? Have you?
I have.
Oh, okay. And you just thought you'd buy it?
Yes.
Okay.
It was so bad you had to have it.
Yes.
Oliver says Comedy Central used to show it at midnight on April Fool's.
Do you want me to read the what it says on IMDb
Let's hear
about
the
it?
synopsis.
Johnny is a successful banker who lives happily in a San Francisco townhouse with his fiancée, Lisa, or future wife, Lisa. One day, inexplicably, she gets bored with him and decides to seduce his best friend, Mark. From there, nothing will be the same.
Well, that sounds wonderfully artistic.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Well-
excited now. We got to watch it. Let's do it.
You know what else we should do?
What else should we do?
Get into some news.
News!
It's time for the only news stories worth talking about.
Oh, boy. First story this fine evening comes from TheVerge.com. It says the iPhone 10 is the one phone where we...
Are you okay?
Boo! You suck! Nope, I can't read. The iPhone 10 is the one phone where you'll really want to wait for the reviews,
Yeah.
is what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. And
Who said that?
that's
The
what this Verge
The
article is
Verge-
saying.
The Verge says so.
Well, I think a large chunk of the reason is because number one, the Face ID is something that's new. It's never been done with great success.
Yeah.
So that plays a huge factor into, is this going to be something that will work, or is it going to be something that will be very frustrating for the people that go out and are early adopters and get it right away? I think that the next thing is that I mean, the fact that there's no bezel on it at all is just, it's kind of crazy. Something that's never been done before. And so you're looking at something that, is it going to actually be as responsive with no bezel in all the places that it's supposed to be and be as successful? I think those are the biggest keys that they're kind of looking at here, saying, is this going to be able to hold up over a long run? Is there going to be a lot of issues to begin with? So, plus the price tag, I think, is the other big concern that some people have with it.
Yeah, I think it's funny because people complain about that price without realizing that they're paying pretty much that for if they upgrade to any new iPhone. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you can get one of the smaller ones. I mean, now they've dropped the prices on all of them in preparation. But I mean, even the new iPhone 8, like click on that right there.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Oh,
they're updating the Apple Store now.
But like if you get an iPhone 8 with 256 gigs memory, it's like I think it's $969.
Right.
So it's not that far off from the price of this, and this phone has a lot more stuff on it.
I think it's weird that they went with 64 and then 256.
Yeah, I'm surprised they cut the.
Why not, like 160 or something for the base model?
Yeah, it seems like they kind of took a step back from where they'd been before.
Unless that's intentional, right? So that
it's probably intending to make more money because people that are going to upgrade that had 64 gigs aren't going to want that size phone.
Well, and the crazy thing is, as much as Apple charges for memory, it's only $150 more to go up to the 256.
Well, I think that's the reason that's only 64 in the first one.
Yeah.
It gives people more of a reason to go to the more expensive one.
Which it probably doesn't cost them any different to put that in there.
Oh, of course not.
So it's just, it is what it is.
Are you getting it, Eric?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean, if I can get it pre-ordered, yeah. Because I haven't.
It's a short pre-order window. I mean, obviously.
Well, it doesn't.
It's not any shorter than
it's not.
It
doesn't go up for
is
pre-order till October 27th.
Yeah, and then it's released on November 3rd.
Yeah, that's the way they usually do it. They always do it a week in advance. You pre-order and then you get it the next week.
I thought that there was about a month in between, but
no, it's always.
I
been
mean,
a week.
I've been up for probably 6 months on my phone.
Yeah, me too. About the same.
And so I figure I've been saving that money on my monthly payment.
Yeah.
For that period of time, so.
Yeah, I think I'm going to
plan on getting it. I don't know if it depends on where things are at that day. You know what I mean? Might be a month later. Who knows?
It's the pre-orders will go live at like usually in our time zone it'll be like 2 a.m. on Thursday night, or Friday morning. I mean, so yeah, you kind of have to stay up and try to get it because it'll be gone.
So what's the reason? What do you think is, because there's not a lot of actual new features. What's the reason that you like that phone over the 8 or the 8 Plus?
I think there are a lot of new features. The screen, the screen is completely different. It's like all screen. For 2, it's got the face detection thing, which is a pretty big. I mean, I get that. I'm not excited about
having to change my habits of how I.
I'm not
unlock my phone.
I'm not excited about looking at like the unlocking part of it. I don't use Touch ID now, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Do you
really?
You use just the
PIN every time?
I have it set to where the PIN will activate in an hour, and so if I don't touch it for an hour, which that's rare for me not to touch it for an hour, and so and then it on whatever, so it doesn't matter to me. Because I know a lot of people use it. I hated having to make sure that it unlocked with my thumb every time I touch the stupid phone. I absolutely cannot stand it. So, I don't really like. I don't really like the. I don't really like doing that. I don't really like the face thing. I don't care. I'm more interested to see how other applications use it because the face, like they showed Snapchat using it, and it was kind of crazy what it can do with that. Like you can do augmented reality type things where you can make mouth movements with an emoji, and that'll take over and record it and put it on the screen. There's just like a lot of cool things with that. So in the camera, it has 2 cameras like the last one did, except these are both stabilized, and they have a better aperture. So I mean, maybe you want to say that it's like not a lot, but this really is like if it delivers on everything it's saying. So it's supposedly the best OLED screen.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of things that it's promising, and if it delivers on it, it really is technically the phone of the future that they're calling it, even though that's just kind of a stupid Apple marketing.
I saw someone that I'm friends with. I don't know exactly what they do anymore for a job, but I think that they're at least somewhat involved in doing design for like apps and different things. And they were talking about how I think they called it the unibrow of the new phone was kind of. He's like, I understand why it's there, but it seems like that's just an insane thing to put on programmers.
Why do you think it's there, Kyle?
Because of the camera?
Nope.
And because of the Earpiece?
I have a totally different idea about that. Because look at all the Android phones that already have had edge-to-edge glass. They still have a full band across the top, and Apple could have totally done that instead of had the unibrow. The purpose, my opinion, for the purpose of the unibrow is it's iconic. So just like the home button on an iPhone image or pixel art or anything else, you know it's an iPhone when you see it because of the home button. And this will designate it as an iPhone different than any other phone out there because it's got the unibrow.
I mean, I don't think you're wrong about that. I think that is true, and they've actually integrated some useful ways. Like now, it splits the difference, so it shows like your clock on one side, and then your
and
bars
app developers
and your time.
could use that.
That's cool.
Well, no, I'm not even finished. What I'm saying is now you swipe down from the right to get to your control center.
Oh, to the specific
you
spots.
swipe down from the middle or the left to get to your notifications.
Okay.
Because when you swipe up, it unlocks the phone. So.
So
I think that there are some Android phones that I have seen that have had something kind of similar to this in the way that it looks up at the top, even though there was still a bezel around it. There was still that little eyebrow area. And I mean, realistically, I don't know that you're going to be able to not have something there at the top with a phone.
Yeah, but
until we progress to the point where all they have to do is have the little speck there for a camera and the little line for your audio.
Yeah, I don't think that, but I mean, most of the Android phones, even if you look at the Galaxies, they are just
it's just
straight
a bar,
line across.
Right, but
there,
like I said, I think it was an older version that it was just like a different color that kind of lipped in like that.
So I have one reason that I think I'm going with the 10 instead of the. I was like really torn for a while because I didn't catch the keynote, but when I caught the details later that day, I was like, ugh, I don't know if it's enough. I mean, I'm going to get a new phone because my phone's older, a couple years older now. But I was like, which way do I go? And the one thing that someone else mentioned that I knew about, but after someone said it, I really thought about it. And that is, and Kyle and I were talking about before the show, if you look at the size of the phone, screen is slightly larger than the Plus. I've got the Plus now, a 6S Plus, I think.
Is it 5.4 now?
5.9.
No, this one. No, the new one's 5.8.
Oh, this one's 5.4.
The new one's 5.8.
5.5 is what the Plus is. The new one's 5.8, but it's
almost the same
little
size
bit bigger than the 8,
as the regular size phone or the smaller phone. Which the one problem I've had with this is the size of the phone, and a big part of that is because I've got an extra 3/4 of an inch on the bottom and on the top of the screen to hold this thing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the size of it in my pocket and things like that. So the big thing for me is the smaller sized phone with the same / slightly larger screen as the phone I'm used to now. So
yeah, a couple things we missed in the chat here. Mutiny Teddy says, I don't know exactly where it went. Something to the effect of not liking the fact that they put the glass back on the new one.
All phones are going that way, though.
Yeah, but that's for the wireless.
Are they going back
that's
that
for
way?
wireless
yeah,
charging.
it has to be.
Oh, for the wireless. That makes sense. It makes sense. They used to have that, and I think that a lot of people like the fact that they moved away from it. Well, right. They moved away from that because it, in a lot of cases, probably saved a lot of people from their phones getting damaged as easily.
They also upped the cost of the Apple Care.
Yeah,
it's $200 now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Kobayashi Kobayashi Pro Gamer says my mom wants to know if the guy in the red shirt is single. The chat came to Jeremy's aid and answered that for him. That yes, he is very single.
No.
I know. I read the chat. They said no, you're not single. You answered no, very much no. I saw you type in
Nathan, we had a little eye conversation over here because he was like trying to figure out who had the red shirt on because he's colorblind.
Wait, you can't tell between black and red?
Well, I don't think he looked that far down. He was just didn't see red, right? Basically.
And
I guess not.
And I was like, nope, it's me. It's me, Nathan.
I'm pretty confident. I was pretty confident that my shirt was not red, but I've known not to trust my own eyes.
That's true. That is true. Papa Mess 13 also said, "I think this may be a new pickup line. Hey, I have a unibrow. I'm iconic." So
Works
there
for
you
that.
go.
What's his face? The NBA player.
Yeah. So welcome to new viewers. I know there are a couple here in the chat. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that heart and give us a follow.
Too
You'll get
bad
some-
they already
Attack
left.
our heart.
Did they all?
I don't know.
I don't think they all left.
I'm just
They're
kidding.
still here.
One person left. I saw it because the thing
Yeah,
tells
it's
us
true.
now. Sorry, I referenced behind the scenes again.
Yeah,
Sorry.
behind the scenes.
Sorry.
Eric.
I didn't mean to do that.
So not only do we have a new show, but we have new technology.
Yeah.
Newt
it's-
ecology.
Newtology.
New
All right. Well, we can
technology.
stop talking about the iPhone, but I always get excited, especially when it's like time to upgrade. So, next story comes to us from CNBC. That's their song. That's their theme song. It's just like,
CNB.
no,
C-
it's just-
That sounds like
Next story from CNBC says
CNBC.
says Disney delays the release of Star Wars Episode 9 after naming J.J. Abrams director. Where's Trevor
Yeah.
to cry about this?
Trevor,
Why would he
he's-
cry?
Trevor, cry.
Okay, we're doing the news again, everybody.
Kuiper.
Kuipers. Yeah, so I
It's
actually,
only a second day.
I actually had this in our agenda, just in the fact that they had lost their director. They had parted ways mutually, I believe, and they did go through, and there was a lot of speculation, but it was a really fast turnaround to naming J.J. Abrams the director.
Sure wasn't the plan all along.
I mean, it may have been, but there were reports that I'm trying to remember what the guy's name is. I don't think
Colin
it's in
Trevor
here.
Arrow.
Yeah,
Him.
yeah, Trevor. No,
Trevor
the guy that
Arrow.
did Jurassic World. They said that there was a lot of issues with like ego and stuff, and him not working as well with the people that were kind of telling him what he has to do. Which it wasn't surprising, especially with everything that was going on with the Han Solo movie having issues with their director too. But there were a lot of people that were speculating who's gonna do it, who's gonna direct it. Will they go with Rian Johnson, who's doing 8? Would they go to J.J. Abrams? Would they go to somebody that's completely new, or somebody that
This
would
makes
be a
it easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Less of a delay than probably anyone else.
And honestly, I was kind of surprised that they didn't decide to go at it with a, hey, we're going to give you a few movies, since it's going to be a series that's going to continue, and they're going to continue to do Star Wars movies. I was surprised that they didn't want to do that, since he was producing the first 3 that were coming out under Disney anyway. So. Now he
There
is
you go.
he is tapped as the new Star Wars director, and it has delayed the release until December of 2019 instead
Wasn't
of
that supposed to be the release?
no, it's supposed to be May.
Oh,
So-
but the first one came out in December.
Yeah, and
didn't
this
it?
one's
Or
coming out
7.
in December.
Right, and this one's coming out in
And this-
December.
this-
It seems
the
like
8th
it would,
one's coming out in May.
8th one I think is December.
The 8th one is this December.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're all December.
So it's a better.
now-
It's actually
So
better.
it's what I was already expecting.
yeah, pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's changed because it's not going to be
Yeah.
it's not going to be
It's almost like
as
they had
early
that
as
May
they
date
wanted
as
it.
a buffer just in case.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Star Wars movies used to be May.
because of May the 4th.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I think that's just that's when
that's just when the first one came out, and then they just did that for every successive movie up until The Force Awakens.
Oh, okay.
Well, and that's also the kind of the start of summer blockbusters and everything. So it makes sense that they would try to put that in at that time frame. But
Yeah.
I don't know when is the Han Solo film supposed to come out?
Isn't that next December?
No, there's something I just looked. It says there's an article from Screen Rant that says Han Solo needs to be delayed to December 18. So maybe it's supposed to be coming out earlier. Oh, it's supposed to be May of 18,
Oh, well, never mind.
which
So it's
is
gonna be
kind
bad.
of that's really surprising because
That's-
they just locked down Ron Howard to do that.
That would be a 5-month delay between Star Wars
Yeah.
movies. That seems really short.
It wouldn't surprise me if that gets pushed back.
Yeah.
All right, so here's my prediction. Once we're past Episode 9, in retrospect, this trilogy is going to be referred to as the Abrams trilogy, just because he directed 2 out of 3 of them.
Yeah. And he will have written 2 of the 3 of them.
It'll be interesting to see too the kind of the difference in the tone, because I think you'll probably notice it from going from his to Ryan Johnson back to his, like this kind of difference. I don't know.
Right.
And I didn't hate. I mean, I really liked Force Awakens. It was fun, but it played off your emotions. It played off your sentiment.
Yeah, I think to
that was
some
good.
degree they had to do that
Yeah,
because
to
of
get
the
everybody
way
back
that
into it.
Episode 1 through 3 went and was not what people were
Receptive
hoping
to.
that it would turn into. So, yeah, I don't know.
I'm just lost in which movie's which. So
This is number 9, and Force
Okay.
Awakens was number 7. So the new
Okay.
one's coming out in December this year.
That's
and that
8.
one's 8.
That's 8.
Right.
Very good,
That's the
Jeremy.
Ryan Johnson one.
Ryan
which
Johnson.
So the last 2 of the 3rd trilogy is this year, next year.
no, this year in 19.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then
Next
Yeah,
year
and-
is supposed to be Han Solo.
Okay. Now I'm catching up.
Now you got it. All right, next story comes from Flickering Myth. That's flickeringmyth.com. It says Jordan Voight Roberts still keen on directing a Superman Red Sun movie.
Yeah, which I think could be interesting, and especially with all the anthology type of non-canon or non-DCU movies that they're talking about doing. It seems like this could be something that could fall in line if they get all the pieces together, because this was, I believe, written by Mark Millar and is a story about what would have happened if
Kal-El's ship had
yeah,
landed
that-
in Soviet Russia.
Kuipers, get
trying
Jeremy a drink.
I was trying to think of his name, Kal-El.
Kal-El.
Yeah, if he would have
Jeremy's
landed
getting
in
his own drink, I guess.
Soviet Russia instead of in the U.S., and just some of the differences in what that would have.
So it's like an
provided.
alternate reality if Superman was a Russian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so,
so-
instead of having an
da.
S on his
So it
chest,
just means
he had
Russians
hammer and sickle.
would use him to dominate America.
Probably.
They attempt to in the story.
So it's a very Americanized version of the story, not like from a Russian point of view.
Well,
I
I don't know if it would
so.
go that far.
maybe.
I mean, it's if it was trying to be like true to the story, it would have to be from like more of a Russian point of view, right?
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
I would think so. But yeah, and so this guy Jordan Vogt Roberts was somebody that had been involved when there were some very early talks a bit ago, and he said that nobody's talked to him, but they're apparently talking about the idea of doing a Red Sun movie, which, I mean, it sounds intriguing. So I don't know. We'll see if
I'd watch it.
I would
is
watch
it. Still DC rights then, or
Yeah.
It would still be under the DC wheelhouse. It just wouldn't be in their cinematic universe.
yeah.
Right, so it wouldn't fall along with Batman vs Superman and Justice League.
Well,
It would
I
be,
would assume they wouldn't want to have anything to do with it.
of course, that would be interesting if there was a way that they tied that in with somebody else from Krypton that shows up that had been in Russia the whole time.
What? Oh.
Like if they were wanting to, it would if it was like another one of his family members that had gotten away. But that would convolute things so much.
Oh, you mean like it's some
If they-
if they fit it into the
Right,
DC
if they tried to
cinematic
fit it into
universe.
the cinematic universe.
Okay. Yeah, that would be incredibly convoluted and would kind of miss the point of the story.
Right.
Well, I suppose DC is kind of desperate in some ways. I mean, they haven't.
I mean, they've been desperate for a while.
Amen.
I mean, hasn't Wonder Woman? I mean, Wonder Woman kind of
Wonder
redeemed
Woman
them, didn't
killed.
it? Everybody said that was really good. It got really good
have you
reviews.
seen it
I
yet?
haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
no.
I also haven't seen it, but
Oh.
it looks really good.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time that DC, since they've tried to do anything like this, has actually been probably even better than Marvel movies. It's really, really good. So
I will
all right.
say though the climax of Red Son does involve Batman and Wonder Woman fighting Superman, so that would play right into their current sensibilities.
But don't you think that if he was Russian, he'd have a different name than Superman?
Well,
I think that's why he's Red Sun. He's
what
not,
I don't-
he's not
Oh,
Superman.
that's
what
what
I
his
don't
name
get
is?
is that
Oh, okay, sorry.
his logo is the Russian insignia instead of his family's insignia. Like the S has nothing to do with the U.S.
In some continuities, it does.
Really?
Well, it's not the U.S., but it's tied into the Kents.
Oh,
Sometimes
instead
it's-
of his.
Sometimes it's like a Native American symbol from their ancestry. Sometimes it's just. Sometimes
Didn't
it's,
know that.
Yep.
So how likely? Like, is this just like in talks? Like it?
This is just him saying, "I would like to do this," and they're
Okay.
now branching out into Elseworld stories. So, I would like to have it done, but nobody's approached me.
Right,
Okay.
and they
So he's
they're-
like dibs.
Well,
basically.
it's a dibs.
and Mark Millar is the guy that wrote this, and he was the one that said earlier this summer that that he had been approached by Warner Brothers for this to be potentially adapted. So, especially with the fact that they are doing their offshoot movies, like that Joker one that's supposed to be coming out with Scorsese tied to it. Which
Hopefully, it's good.
I've heard that there were rumors that may actually be very limitedly attached to Scorsese just to try and get Leonardo DiCaprio to play
The Joker?
Yeah,
They
which
do
that
get
would-
along.
I would watch it. For
I would
that.
watch it for that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
the heck?
that could be a
You
real
don't
intriguing
like. You don't
movie.
like him, do you?
Who?
Caprio.
Oh, I love
Oh,
Leonardo.
Yeah.
I
Leonardo
thought- okay.
DiCaprio. I'm here all night.
That in and of itself, like
That's
I would,
very interesting.
That would be fantastic.
But that means that Hollywood is over, right? When their top tier, their best actor plays a comic book character, it's over. It's all done, right? Like we're just like, that's it. We've given up. We're just making comic book movies. That's all that anybody cares about. I think it's just the nail in the coffin. It's like,
could be,
boom,
could be.
There you go.
he got his Oscar. He's fine.
He's like, I got my Oscar. I'm gonna move on now. I'm gonna go do comic book movies. I guess. I don't know. Let's take a look at the next story. It comes from newstimes.com. That's a pretty good domain to own. They must have bought that early on in the .com rage, because this doesn't look like a legitimate website. Newstimes.com says new Milford councilman resigns after furry activities.
I did get the picture from New York Times. If that makes it more credible.
It's very credible now.
Okay.
but I mean, it's not. I would like it better if he was actually standing there.
I mean, except for the fact that New York Times like photoshopped him over a furry
yeah,
parade.
they totally
but-
did.
yeah, that would have been much better if he was actually there. But no, there's some people that are not happy finding out that this town council member is very involved in
The furry
the furry community. And part of it is that there was something on a private website catering to furries that participate in and write about unusual sexual practices. And there's a bunch of things that are like loves, likes, hates, and tolerates that are put in there that they allude to him saying that he tolerates rape, which has caused
Well, they
all
had a
kinds of
profile on him
right,
on their site.
Right, there's a
yeah.
profile on their site, and somebody found out that it was him, and so it's caused a bunch of controversy. It sounds like he's playing the typical politician.
He
That
resigned,
somebody
didn't he?
did he?
Yeah,
I didn't.
I
it said
heard
that in
another
the-
story. He resigned.
Did it say that in the story?
It says that in the headline.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, okay.
The headline that you read, Kyle.
I
No,
didn't read
Eric
the
read it.
headline.
I mean,
Eric
the
did.
headline that Eric read.
I wasn't paying attention.
It's all good.
Says
Clearly.
Milford councilman resigns.
You're right. Can we take that from the top,
Nope.
Kuipers?
No, we cannot. There's
go
nothing
back
for
that
him to
news-
take. No,
Go back to the news
stop.
segment.
addressing it.
Stop addressing the failures, Kyle. Actually, I think addressing your failures is the first step to moving on
Yeah,
and becoming a better person.
I didn't fail anything. What are you talking? No, but he said that
it's
was
probably not necessarily the furry thing as much as the rape thing.
Yeah,
like that's pretty messed up.
He said that he didn't think that it was, or that he claimed that it wasn't his. That
He didn't
somebody,
write it.
Yeah, that somebody
Make
had
it.
wrote it for him, or like posing as him on the site.
Okay.
So
He's trying to play the game.
yeah,
Or
it's
say,
the
"Oh, it wasn't
typical
me."
politician answer.
It wasn't my weenus.
His elbow.
No, that was the guy from the politician. What was his name?
Anthony
Wiener.
Weiner.
Yeah,
I was going to
Wiener
say,
guy.
I
what
mean,
are you
that-
saying weenus for?
Well,
you-
because I was just
you
know,
were-
being
You
a
were
little
trying
sly.
not to say Wiener.
Yeah, Wiener would work. Yeah, sure.
His name is Anthony Weiner.
Yeah.
You just want to say wiener over and over again, don't
Or
you?
he
What they
just
wanna
wanted to
do.
say
I
weenus.
didn't say it, so
You
Yeah.
just wanted to get them to say
I
it.
feel like weenus is more vulgar than wiener because wiener is like what you would call a hot dog.
Yeah,
This is a weenus.
I know, but it still sounds like a more vulgar word.
Wait, this is a weenus?
Yeah,
Nathan's
your-
pointing to
your
his
Isn't
elbow.
it- Isn't it a more
It's like the elbow,
scientific word?
Skin on your elbow.
Skin on your elbow is your weenus.
It's a more scientific word.
That's even funnier that it's
I
the
know,
skin.
right? It's
That's the skin that's like some other skin on my body. So that's dirty.
There are two things that
Hashtag
rhyme with
family
wit.
friendly. Sorry.
Two things. Never mind.
yeah.
We're going off trail, off the bunny trail.
So long.
We're going off
New
the
Milford Councilman.
We're going off the councilman dressed as a bunny trail. So Jeremy's making dirty hand
What? No,
motions
no, I
behind his
wasn't.
Yes,
computer.
you was.
I resigned from running for council.
Didn't even know you were doing
Someone
that.
else did it, but I resigned.
Let's move on to another story. Milford congressman. He's no longer there because he dressed up
I thought we were going
like a rabbit hare.
Don't address
and
it,
he
Jeremy.
hid in there.
He's actually a councilman, not a congressman.
No. All right. This next story comes from the Geeky Gallagher.
I'm not sure. I was
Gaylagor.
thinking Gaylagor.
Gaylagor?
Gaylagor.
It comes from the Weekly Gaylagor, don't you know? Oh.
It's a site that's musings on and sometimes in the Irish language.
It says here, their headline says, even racists got the blues. Well, I hope so, because you're dirty, rotten racists.
yeah, which I don't.
The title's terrible.
The title
It's a
is
really
terrible.
dumb headline.
It's a bad headline
It's not
because
I'll let you read.
it doesn't indicate that this person, as you can see on the screen here, they've got a shamrock that's black that's got a blue line through it, denoting
He's also wearing a kilt, but they can't see that at home.
That got cut off, but the translation that they were going for, they think, is supposed to be Blue Lives Matter, which doesn't necessarily mean that he's a racist person or any of that stuff. But the funny thing is, and I think because this is a site that deals with the Irish language, they go through a whole bunch of background that I don't understand, and I'm not going to even try to bore anybody by reading
I
it.
can explain a little of
I
it.
can explain. I
Okay.
mean, the bottom line is the words that they used don't translate out exactly to
Yeah, because
Blue
they
Lives
took a
Matter.
dictionary and picked each word.
Right.
independently.
Instead of taking it as a phrase, which
Yeah.
when they're all together, it actually says Black Lives Matter,
Oh.
But with bad grammar.
but with bad
Yeah.
grammar.
So wait,
Oh,
it's just a misspelling or mistranslation?
It's a mistranslation, yeah.
So
Well-
here's what. Go ahead.
Well, though the way the site explains it, I don't speak Irish, but the way the site explains it,
I do though. I speak the Irish. It's
bad.
It's the Lucky Charms that you've been garnering your wages for,
I
Your soap is shredded in green.
Come on, Jeremy. I know you want to do yours. I know you want to do yours.
No, he doesn't
Okay,
want to do
have
it.
one.
Come on, guys, stop insulting the traits.
Yeah. No. Kuiper, shut your mic off.
Ooh, you suck!
the way the site
Bad Kuipers.
the way the site explains it, in the Irish language, you would not use blue to refer to policemen. If you were going to use blue to describe people, it would be describing black people because black is referring to the color, not to people's skin tone.
Huh. Interesting.
also
Language
the
can be
matter,
misleading
The word
sometimes.
matter, they actually used the wrong definition of matter to be physical matter
Yep. They
So
use
they're
the
pretty
noun.
much saying
instead of to have purpose or to
that black people are made out of matter. Is what this is actually
that they have
translating.
purpose.
Now that's a statement I can agree with, but a movement I cannot support.
So here's what I think. Here's what I think is the real irony of this story. This is a Irish website that talks about the Irish language and how they're making fun of this guy's choice of this shirt. Yet their title is them misunderstanding what Blue Lives Matters is, because it was actually created by policemen to counteract the anti-police things that were happening after a black person was shot.
Yeah.
So the Blue Lives Matter has zero to do with the alt-right or racism at all, which is kind of where it came from, which is kind of hilarious that that's where the direction they're taking it. And they have no reason to even know that this person isn't a police officer. They even stated they didn't really know where this came from or anything about the person.
It was just
Yet
the-
they called him a racist in their title, which
Yeah.
is the same thing they're arguing against in their story. Kind of funny.
I thought they were arguing against bad translation errors.
Which is what they were doing by saying
It was clickbait. Let's be
yeah,
honest.
it's true. It wasn't a translation error. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Comprehension error.
So you're saying they're idiots.
Yes.
Both of them.
Yeah. Well, speaking of idiots,
No intelligence found.
Does he know he's dumb?
There's something seriously wrong with you.
Wouldn't want to embarrass yourself in front of your fellow perverts.
You don't deserve the air you breathe, buddy.
Here's this week's nomination for the hardest 404ing on the internet.
all right. Here's your the poll from last week. We've got with 100% dumper going up against 0% of gold diggers. So that was, only four.
It's
votes.
Kyle's fault. I mean, it's Trevor's fault. It's Trevor's fault.
It's Trevor's fault. He jumped Tub, and he decided he only wanted to talk about video games, and I didn't do the poll right last week. So Jeremy is now in charge of the poll.
Yeah.
Which may mean
It'll
we get
be up
some
for
better
6
names.
days and 8 hours.
Means we may get some better names.
Wait, does that give me enough time to...
Because Jeremy will probably be a little more adventurous than Trevor was.
Probably true.
We'll just do 6 days. That gives me enough time to put it in there.
Which one was Dumper?
That was the one about the young lady on the date who who couldn't flush her poop, so
Oh,
she threw it out
yes.
the window and then had to go get it.
And got stuck.
I mean, let's be honest. The right one was chosen.
Yes.
It's true.
All right, here's the first nomination for the 404 Club. It says This one comes from the bristolpost.co.uk. It says heartbroken man starts playing piano nonstop in College Green, Bristol to win back his lost love.
Yes. Give me my thing didn't load fast enough. A heartbroken musician. You can see him right there. He'd set up a piano in the center of Bristol and vowed to play nonstop until the love of his life returned to him. Luke Howard began playing his piano on College Green on Saturday morning and said it was his last throw of the dice to win back the heart of the girl who changed his life. The 34-year-old from
That rhymes, kind of.
The 34-year-old from Bath said,
He's from a bath.
"Yeah, he's
Hey,
from
we're
a Bath."
from a bath.
Yeah. He said he didn't know what the woman, who he wouldn't name but referred to as his Rapunzel, would do when she saw what he was doing with this piano stunt, but he just wanted to let her know how much I love her.
Do you suppose that's why she broke up with him? Because he kept trying to climb up her hair?
Probably.
There was a short video, but it wouldn't have done well without... Well, it just wouldn't have done well, because this guy is a complete, I don't know, he's wants to be artsy in the way he talks in his head. He's got all of the bad characteristics you would make fun of someone who says they're artsy. Mm-hmm. And, he, proliferates them intentionally. And it's just I could see why she ran from you.
Can anybody
yeah,
say
so
why he has an iPad on top of his piano?
Probably for his music.
Oh,
and he was tweeting about this. There was also a chalkboard he set up on the other side that you can't see from this picture.
You can see a little bit of it.
Yeah, a little bit of it. Where he actually wrote...
For love, my name is
yeah.
Luke. I'm here today to play for love. X. Please share my Facebook page.
And then so it's really he was trying to get
so
some publicity. It had nothing to do with the girl.
Yeah, it said
in my
the pair
opinion.
recently split up after a 4-month relationship, and the breakup has left him devastated. It wasn't anything nasty or bad. It was just life getting in the way. If it was anything bad why we split up, then I wouldn't be doing this, but it's the only thing I can think of doing. It just seems like life got in our way. It may sound whimsical, but she completely changed my life. My entire world shifted. I know people in my situation will send flowers or text or write letters, but that only ever seems to make things worse. I wanted to do something that she might see, to let her know how much I love her, that she can see it and take that or leave it.
Could you sound more artsy when you say
I'm siding with the chat right now. Well, this is I don't get
I
why
don't
this
see
is
the
a
404 in
I
this
have
one as
no
well.
We
idea.
have the right to throw it out.
I mean, who is this your story, Nathan?
Yes.
Why is it 404 worthy? Then defend it.
I thought it was 404 worthy because he's basically trying to coerce her back into a relationship with him.
Is he? Or is he just trying to get likes on his Facebook
I mean,
page?
he is kind of a tool, so I guess that could equal 404 just because, he's like parlaying this bad relationship into trying to get famous on social media.
Yeah, that makes
I
him
could
a real
allow
tool.
that as a reason.
And look at that jacket he's wearing.
It's a nice
Mutiny Teddy
jacket.
says Russell Brand knockoff.
He's an off-brand.
Off-brand.
Nailed it.
All right. We'll let Jeremy pick one off there. Let's go to the next one.
Give him all your names.
The next 404 nomination is coming at you quick here. This one is from Distractify.com, and it says, mother writes offensively tone-deaf letter about her daughter's wedding, becomes internet villain.
Yes. A mom is attracting attention in the most recent Dear Prudence column on Slate for writing what may be the most insensitive missive to the advice columnist ever about her daughter's wedding party. Here we go. Let's read it.
To clarify the picture real quick, the picture of the lady is Mallory Oderberg from Slate, the person that they wrote the letter to, not the mother who's a tool.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the
Tool
question,
Mom Taylor.
friends, or I'm sorry.
That's not bad.
And you haven't even heard the story.
All right, so the question that was posed, daughter's friend being in wedding. My 27-year-old daughter and her best friend Katie have been best friends since they were 4. Katie practically grew up in our house and is like a daughter to me. My daughter recently got engaged to her fiancé and announced that Katie would be the maid of honor. Katie's boyfriend is also a good friend of my future son-in-law. The problem is that Katie walks with a pretty severe limp due to a birth defect, not an underlying medical issue. She has no problem wearing high heels and has already been fitted for the dress, but I still think it will look unsightly if she's in the wedding procession, limping ahead of my daughter. I mentioned this to my daughter and suggest that maybe Katie could take video or hand out programs while sitting so she doesn't ruin the aesthetic aspect of the wedding. My daughter is no longer speaking to me. We were never that close. But this is her big wedding and I want it to be perfect. All of the other bridesmaids will look gorgeous walking down the aisle with my daughter. Is it wrong to have her friend sit out?
She wins. It's over.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Talk about tone deaf. You're not kidding. Like, how does she not realize how terrible that sounds? Like,
The line that really gets me, the problem is that Katie walks with a pretty severe limp due to a birth defect and then has to put in parentheses, not an underlying medical issue. Like, it would be better if it was an underlying medical issue.
yeah.
Like, oh, I could let her walk down the aisle with a limp if she hurt herself. But since she's born this way...
Can we as a society, can we just get over weddings? Like, can we just, get over it? It is not as big a deal as you make it. You
We
know
are
what?
a bunch of guys saying that, though.
No, it is. I'm
just saying.
If my wife was here, she would say the exact same thing. It's a thing for that. This is this crazy thing that people are spending so much money on these weddings. For one day, they're going in debt for the rest of their lives over one day.
Yeah, that's
and it's
ridiculous.
And it's like you've got this. It's a beautiful thing. Okay, 2 people are committing themselves for the rest of their life. That's great.
Or not,
But
the next year.
But what I'm saying is, why do we do this? Why do people think it's okay to just spend all this money, make this big deal? And this is what it's leading to. Is this like, oh, it has to be perfect. It has to be, you know what? It's a tailspin of a day. It's a crazy day that goes by in a blink of an eye, and everything is coming at you so fast. Most of those memories aren't going to matter other than the things you look back at photos and go, oh, okay, wasn't that neat? But the idea that we put, as a society, we put this big pressure on a wedding day being perfect, and that's why this is it. This is because his mom is thinking, well, it's just, Disney wouldn't have a bridesmaid with a limp, so neither should my daughter. And I think it's just this thing.
She gives all the reasons she should be okay with it at the beginning.
Yeah.
They've been best friends since they were 4. She's like a daughter to me. And then she goes on to say, well, I don't really know my own daughter that well. If your daughter's okay with it, get over it, lady.
Yeah.
Crazy? No.
Should we read the answer that
we might
this lady
Yeah, because
gave?
she's actually a tool too if you read some of her stuff. But
she's a tool?
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
Oh, but not
sometimes.
in
Not all
regards
the
to
time.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. Answer. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around this letter. I encourage you to reread it and to ask yourself that time-honored question, do I sound like a villain in a Reese Witherspoon movie? You are presumably sympathetic to your own situation and are invested in making sure that you do come across as reasonable and as caring as possible, and yet you have written a letter indicting yourself at every turn. This girl is like a daughter to you, and yet you want to shove her to the side of your other daughter's wedding just because she walks with a limp. Your daughter's wedding will be perfect with Katie as a full and honored member of the bridal party. A limp is not a fly in the ointment. It's a part of Katie's life. It's not only wrong to ask your daughter to consider excluding her best friend over this, it is ableist and cruel and speaks to a massive failure of empathy, compassion, and grace on your part. You must and should apologize to your daughter immediately, and I encourage you to profoundly reconsider the orientation of your heart.
Crazy. I think you're missing the point. This title should not make fun of the lady, the woman with the limp.
Yeah, this is the lady that
missing the mark by a long shot here.
It's the mother of the bride.
And to address what Teddy said, he says, Eric, get over it. It's always been this is the way marriage has been since the beginning, and I don't agree with that.
I don't think it's been that way.
It has not been.
It has become a huge racket now, where people spend more money than they ever have on weddings. It's always been a thing of this big fancy thing. I get that, but it's like the money that people spend now and the weight that they put on it is just ridiculous.
Right. Even that's not true. Up until the 12th century, Christian marriages were an entirely private affair.
I was talking about like in the recent centuries, in our lifetime. But
there was the word always in there. So
well, I'm sorry. A lot of times we say always
around your own life.
A lot of times it is, and that's my bad. I should have clarified.
Not from a historian perspective.
But I get what you mean. Yeah, like if we were literally talking about always, like okay, yeah, definitely only in the last like however many hundreds of years, or like not even 1,000 years has it been this way. So
right. I mean,
unless you were already of the super elite class.
Yeah, like a.
But now it's like everyone wants to try to act like they're in a class above like what they are, and the whole stupid thing about even identifying class is part of that, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking like even when I got married 2 years ago, like we spent probably more money than we wanted to and still didn't spend all that much. It was mostly because we wanted to have food for people and wanted to have fun.
No, but that's a normal wedding. But I'm talking about these people that have put so much weight into everything. We got to have this, and we got to have like the gold-plated birdseed, and I don't know whatever they want nowadays.
All the crazy stuff that goes along with so many weddings. It's ridiculous.
No, and now Teddy says even in the Bible there are weddings like you said. We're not discrediting that rich people had done this, but now it's become such a standard that people that don't have the money to do
out loans
are taking out loans and like going in debt.
I'll be honest. I mean, mine was over almost 16 years ago, and we put it all on credit cards, and that was the worst thing for our marriage that we could have done.
My wedding
because we paid for it for 10 years.
I saved up for my wedding. I paid for it with cash, and I think we spent between $2,000 and $3,000 on the whole ordeal.
Awesome.
And so, like, that's. I mean, also we were 18 and really young, and so we didn't have a lot of money, so it was going to be cheap. But
I don't think we spent that much more than that. And I mean, we still had ours was like on a kind of payment plan that we paid a large chunk of it up front, and then it was like a couple months later we were supposed to pay the rest of it or whatever.
Yeah. I get it. If you have the money, you spend it, have fun.
If you have
but
the
it's
money,
like, don't get in debt over a wedding. It's not worth it.
Don't push
that's
someone
still not
out
the point
that
of this
should be
story.
in your...
Don't put pressure on if this is someone you care about and love and you want her to be in this wedding as a bridesmaid, then what in the world? Of course, like, it doesn't matter. This mom is a terrible person.
And let's be honest, this lady clearly tried to push herself up as this somebody that's actually a decent person, because she makes this big deal about how this girl is like a daughter to her. But then at the bottom, when she says that her daughter's no longer speaking to me,
I think
we were never really that close.
Yeah, we might as well move on. Everybody's turning on this story, so we spent way too much time on the wedding story.
Jeremy, I would let you be my bridesmaid, even if my mom said no.
Awesome.
That's so
I'd do
sweet.
it too.
Cool.
The
hot.
third and final 404 of the week comes from New York Post. It says nurses fired for opening body bag to gawk at dead man's genitals.
Yeah,
I thought we said no more 404s about death.
Well, no, this isn't about
The guy was already dead.
The guy died, right?
Okay.
So 5 Denver nurses peeked at. I didn't see this line. 5 Denver nurses peeked at a stiff's genitals while he was laid up in a body bag and admired what they saw, according to a report. The nurses, who work at the Denver Health Medical Center, were suspended for 3 weeks for the hospital peep show. A hospital spokesman said the nurse admired the size of the dead patient's genitals and opened the bag to view the victim's body, according to the report. The peeping incident occurred sometime between March 31st and April 3rd, but was not reported until May, when another nurse overheard one nurse from the disciplined group make an inappropriate comment and notified the hospital's staff.
5 nurses.
5 nurses
were like,
that just
come look at the size of this junk.
You got to see this dude.
And 4 of them still have their jobs, and one of them quit on their own volition. Like, I'm most shocked that they all still have their jobs.
Yeah.
Like,
it says they were
is
fired.
The Denver? No, they weren't.
Why does the headline say nurses fired over opening body bag?
Eric's right. It does say that.
It does say that, but
Clickbait.
that's not what happened.
I think that they've since been fired.
Go back up to it. The title.
It says nurses fired over opening.
Oh, well, maybe they ended up firing him. One of the stories I read had that 4 of them came back to work, and one of them was no longer working there, but for unrelated reasons.
It says that they were suspended for 3 weeks for the peep show, but I think that now they have, after
probably because it got public.
Right.
Which just proves the hospital is also a 404, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, this is weird. I don't, it's one of those things where I think people get potentially caught up in things that you shouldn't. I don't know. Sometimes it's a weird form of peer pressure, maybe. Too.
Well, also they're around.
No, actually, they're kind of straight and shafty.
I mean, from a certain perspective,
their work is in an environment where they're dealing with pain and death and dark things all the time.
Yeah, so they're gonna make these tasteless jokes probably because you're desensitized to it. I think.
Yeah,
and I think you're gonna,
I think to work in that line
not
of business.
that I'm excusing it, because I'm not.
Yeah. But I think you're desensitized to it, and maybe one person is a little too desensitized to it. They make a joke, and it's like you're in the group. It's a peer pressure thing. You're not, I'm okay with this weird thing we're doing right now. And then before you know it, it's like it's gone too far. People are strange and do strange things. And sometimes you unzip a body bag to look at something. Well, you got a lot of choices, Jeremy. So have fun with that. That poll will be up in just a little bit. Actually, it won't. No, the poll will be up at twitter.com/Minutub, and you can vote for it there. Feel free to do so. It'll be up for a week this time, I hope. And you'll have
6 days.
A whole 6 days, that is.
That gives us time to update.
To vote on that poll. And I'm sorry if you guys were upset by the 404. Everybody said it was dismal this week. They didn't like it. They said this one was maybe even the only one worthy of being a 404. So I would say to that, we need to up our game. If we apologize, we'll try to get more poop stories in there for
maybe you can up your game too. Hit it.
got something on your mind,
I didn't know where to turn.
send us an email, message, or a call.
You've got mail.
All right, it's that time where we read your emails and your smoke signals and whatever, cute little notes on paper airplanes
Voicemails.
you send us. Oh, yeah, you can get on the horn. And leave
Get
us,
on the horn, leave us a
a
message.
loud one.
Crazy forgot to leave a voicemail. Wait, did he sneak a word through the system?
I don't know. No one can see that, Kyle. So
but
do we got anything? We got any mail?
nothing. I didn't see any mail.
We
Did
got
you
no
see any mail?
voicemails. We got no emails. All right, listen up here. You can send an email to tubcast@minutub.com, or you can call and leave a voicemail at 475-TUB-CALL. That's 475-TUB-CALL. What's the numbers?
Yeah.
Click up there. I want to see the numbers.
The numbers?
475-TUB. Click that. It's 47.
Oh,
it's
this right here.
475-TUB-CALL or 475-882-2255. That's 882-2255. So, please call us, leave a voicemail, and we'll play it on air as long
It'll
as
make you internet famous.
as long as it's not too grotesque or about
Just
dead
so you know, that
people
is a
schlongs.
Connecticut number, so it's
No one cares about
Nobody
that.
cares.
Everyone uses
yeah,
cell phones.
absolutely nobody
I know.
cares, Kyle. I'm sorry to break it to you. I know. I
was
didn't mean
just
to
being
hurt your
funny.
feelings.
Dear Diary, the audience was really cute, and we gave it our number today.
And we
I hope it calls us.
please, audience, please stream or watchers.
yeah, and Crazy, I know you said that you forgot to leave a voicemail, so as soon as we are done here, get on that.
Yeah.
Next week you could be on the show.
Okay. Yeah, next week. Get on that,
week.
folks. And you can also leave a voicemail for the loop if you want. So
Yep.
maybe specify if you want to, if it's specific. If not, we'll just pick which one we play it on.
Yeah.
If it's game related, I guess.
This is the time of the show where we want to thank our Patreon peeps.
Thank 'em.
These are all the people that keep us rolling with, dough. No, these people are subscribers on patreon.com/minutub at a $10 level or higher. They're considered our co-producers. And you too could have your name in shining Patreon coral if you subscribe at the $10 level or higher. And you'll get a shout out on the show. We'll shout something out to everyone in the world because they all listen to this. And we really appreciate it. Like we said last night, we just launched The Loop. That was our first episode of it. Aired last night.
If
and it's one of those things where we used a lot of that money to
Get the show.
add equipment, get new things so we could run the show.
Some
It's really
awesome commercials.
Yeah, we're running some advertisements on Facebook right now with some ads, so check those out. Those are on our Facebook and Twitter page. You can see those there. And it's cool to see all this stuff kind of come to fruition. Also, as we move on from that, Jeremy, were you about to plug The Loop? Because that's what I was about to do. So
No, you go for it.
Okay. Now I would like to plug The Loop. That was last night. It's every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. It's a talk show about video games. You can get that on iTunes. You can get it on YouTube. You can go to minutub.com and find the latest episode. We will be posting, just in case you're unclear what's going on, I just want to give everybody a quick update. The Loop is all about video games, so we can talk ad nauseum about video games. The Tubcast will now be void of video games.
So Nathan doesn't have to
Be completely bored unless we're talking about an iPhone.
and Trevor doesn't have to be here on Thursdays.
And so if you like our content enough that you want our video game stuff and you want our other stuff, you can listen to both. If not, you can just listen to one. Now that does mean we are kind of shortening both shows a little bit. We used to do 2 hours on the Tubcast, and we're going to try to keep it in that hour range.
We're starting some other things. We've got
yeah, that's true.
some other things that are happening throughout the week. We're
got-
going to try to do random game streams.
Yeah.
Just so if you're following us, you're going to see that.
Trevor's
follow us on
working on-
Twitch, on Twitter, all that stuff.
Trevor's working on a series as well.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a lot of
Yeah, Trevor's working on a thing called Tub Talks. I think the first one is supposed to be out Saturday on YouTube, where he's going to just kind of take a deep dive into stuff that Trevor likes. And so you can get a little extra Trev if you need him in your life.
While you're thinking about it right now, go tweet at him. Tell him you're
See where
looking
he's
forward
at.
to it.
Yeah, hey Trevor, how you doing on Trev Talks?
Yeah,
I'm
Trev
excited
Talks.
for it. That's all that's at youtube.com/minutub. So please go there and subscribe. We'd like to hit 200 subscribers on there. I think we're only at about 160 something. So help us out. Go to youtube.com/minutub and
Share
subscribe.
with your friends.
Let your friends know. And so now, well, we said this before, but one of the biggest complaints we had about the Tubcast were people that didn't care about video games, and we would talk about them a lot, and they were like, "Oh, I always tune out during that part." Now you can.
Now we're separate.
It's like a buffet. You can choose what you want.
You can choose how you want your men in a tub.
Burger King. You can have it your way. But don't miss the loop, because if you play video games, there's some great stuff. Jeremy's working on his hot tips segment every
week. It was amazing this week.
It was really good.
Throwing that out there.
I think those are going to be condensed down into videos sometimes.
They might be. Who knows?
We'll see.
Anything else we're missing, guys?
Are we potentially planning a Destiny raid on Xbox? If anyone's playing and wants to join, let us know.
Follow us on Twitter for that stuff. We'll always tweet that out. So that's @MinInATub on Twitter. And you have all the information now.
I had one last thing. If we're all set, I had a random fact that I learned today.
What's that?
Oh,
the currency in Vietnam is dongs.
Okay,
that's it. The Vietnamese dong.
Viet dongs.
Viet dongs.
I'm standing by that.
All right.
Well, that was a weird way to end this, but there you go.
I mean, we've ended on weirder, right?
Did we?
I don't think we have actually.
Did we put up the screen for our
Patreons? Yes, we have.
That was a long
time ago,
yeah,
man.
where have you been?
I love those guys and gals.
Way to reference it, Jeremy. Yeah. Way to reference.
Keep an eye on it. We're probably going to update some things with Patreon soon too. So
complete and utter mess. That's a valid preference. All right, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Love y'all.